Hello. This is Human Factors in AI Capstone project submitted by Preeti Venkatraman, just myself. I will walk you through the problem statement and the considerations that we are taking into account for this one. For this project, we would be evaluated based on the task analysis, UX design, privacy, and ethical considerations. The problem statement here is, in my current organization, we see a lot of documents, that financial documents that needs to be extracted for data, which runs in millions of data points. Currently, a large number of users internally manually do this task. However, with the increasing business volumes and the necessity to keep maintain data quality, uh, the purpose of machine learning can be used to address the problems of data quality, coverage, and timeliness, which are some of the problems which we have the current delivery systems. Why we are choosing a machine learning model is the data is continuous and in large data sets, requiring a lot of anomaly detection, and all financial data requires high quality. So this becomes very important to maintain the data quality when we are extracting information at a large scale. This problem is being designed to solve through a machine learning automation by automatically extracting the text from documents, which are financial documents, and applying further business rules and validations, and then sending the data for the end user. The users here primarily are internal, who are extracting data. This is used to improve operational efficiency within the organization and provide better business insights into what kind of data being extracted from where, and that can help in the growth of the business. So a simple user design for a basic model where we are collecting the information and processing these documents from an existing database and applying it into the model. The model runs and extracts the information, and the extracted information is sent to the user for validation through a simple UI where they can match the data to the existing document sets and say whether it is a valid or an invalid extraction. And when it is a valid extraction, it goes to further feed into the application. If it is an invalid extraction, the extraction goes back as a feedback loop. In the UI model that the user interacts, we should have elements for marking a data as correct or incorrect and being able to tag the data or show the AI where to find the data. So these are some of the elements, design elements that needs to be present within the interface that the user is being provided. So some of the design consideration is there are multiple checkpoints should be kept for checking of the quality and validating if the correct data is extracted. This is because financial data is highly dependent on its quality and timeliness. We also need to check if the tool is able to extract data on time and much faster than the human in loop. There are other security and privacy considerations. Is the data coming from a secure source, which is an internal database protected by a firewall and all other security mechanisms? And what is the data that is being pushed for extraction? The usability and explainability of the model is also very important here. So since the users are internal, it is important for them to understand how the model is extracting the data, what data source is being used, and how it is processed, and how to handle errors. Extracted information should also have a tag of how it is being extracted, what sources are being considered. If there is a source prioritization, that should also be that decision should be made available to the users to say why and how it prioritized a particular data source. The users Next comes the feedback and monitoring. The user should be able to monitor and feedback any erroneous data being extracted. The user design, the interface should have the ability for the user to mark a data as correct or incorrectly extracted. This will help providing feedback to the model to improve our prompts, to improve the extraction capability as such. While correct data also helps with the learning mechanisms, and it also reduces the sources of errors. Maintainability and continuous monitoring are other factors which we need to consider when we are designing these systems. Some of the privacy considerations, since being a financial information, data security becomes extremely important. Any unauthorized access to the extracted data and maintaining the source is not corrupted or ingested any that will lead to any ingestion of poor data set or viral information should be monitored for. So data security is extremely important. Data integrity, accuracy, and quality of the data that's been given. We should not be providing unclean or a data that has not been previously considered for ingestion. Privacy. No personally identifiable information should be extracted during this process. Transparency in providing the user how the data is sourced, processed, and also being validated. For example, we are using tags that can say this is an AI extracted information. And to maintain the process, we are supposed to put in data governance around this, standards, policies, procedures, and guidelines to ensure the whole life cycle is managed properly. Some of the applicable laws are GDPR, US CCPA compliance, and financial regulatory compliances that's applicable across different domiciles and countries. Some of the steps that we can take to ensure this is appoint a data security and protection officer who has understanding of the prevailing laws and security policies and considerations, and it's mandatory to adhere to all of these applicable laws in the respective geographies. Ethical considerations here. What is a possible source of bias for a model like this? It is currently human extracted, where which is limited to a particular geography. In this case, the data is not coming from a global source. It is coming from different sources which are being prioritized. And since the past data extractions are done by human, they have a very limited capability into selecting the sources. So only the top priority sources are being used to extract information and also with limited geographical access. This might lead to a significant bias in the system, not struggling when there are new geographies introduced, the documents from different domiciles coming into place, and also when there is multiple sources coming into the picture. So that is the key source of bias that I consider might impact the project. Uh, when we're talking about ethical AI, what are the goals? How the solution addresses to the goals of fairness, accountability, and transparency. The model is being currently trained with multiple data sources based on larger industry data sets that we are collecting from ethical sources. There is a lot of the accountability of the organization is very important when there are errors, issues, and problems, whether it comes to data quality or data privacy or security. Any breach should be reported to the respective based on the respective laws that the organization need to comply against, and they should have risk mitigation practices and audits in place to ensure there are no further incidents. Transparency is extremely important because the end user and consumer need to understand how the data was processed, whether it was through an AI, through a human, and if it's through an AI, what were the decisions that were taken to arrive at this data, what kind of sources were used. Thank you.